What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Mxbikes video. Today we are at the brand new release of the MXGP of Italy. Definitely a very gnarly track. Those of you who have not attempted to ride any kind of rough tracks, I'd say the MXGP probably one of the most challenging tracks of in the game, or series rather. The series of tracks for MXGP are very hilly, very ruddy, very rough. Teaches you a lot about basically every aspect of this game and will severely make you better. And that's kind of why I always practice the tracks and why I'm doing the series. So interesting stuff here. I was previously in this lobby. Now this is my buddy Cleffy on TikTok. This is his server. All of our buddies and everything, all trying here to practice to get into qualifying. Now, I qualified on the Yamaha with a 146 and didn't make it into the Pro-Ams. And switched over to the KTM. And in 6 laps versus 104 laps, I was able to run 2 seconds or almost 2 seconds faster on a setup that I've came up with. So obviously today's video isn't just about the MXGPs, isn't about how the fact that we didn't qualify for MXGP Pro-Am, hoping to get into the amateur race Tuesday. This is recorded on Monday. So AMs run on Tuesday, hopefully going to get in here. And we were just shy of making it, I believe, in the Pro-Am. A 143 and above would have qualified you into the race. Unfortunately, we obviously running the 146 didn't have much of a shot. But we hit the 500-hour mark, boys. And I'm still learning currently in this game, as you can tell. 500 hours, and I kind of figured out something new, and I figured why I'm on this new endeavor, I should pop it up, maybe record myself a little bit after running my best time on the track, of course, after the qualifier, but running my own setup and switching bikes. So today's video, obviously about hitting the 500-hour mark, and I figured it would be a good time to discuss, again, something else I've learned. I've been riding the Yamaha and stuff like that into this game. Tried a bunch of different bikes. A lot of the base setups by SPX, Cloud, you name it. But yeah, I found it very bizarre that, obviously a lot of these suspension guys and stuff like that, you can get a ticket through their Discord, pay them for a paid setup, and kind of thought, maybe it was a little bit of a scheme, is it really going to make that much of a difference? Are the setups actually worth the money? And we just hit 500 hours. So, I'm on the verge of, I should be getting a lot better. I shouldn't maybe be struggling to get into a Pro-Am event. So I knew the bike always felt pretty terrible, bouncing around, all sorts of stuff. But I switched over to the KTM, which, mind you, I've never even ridden in Beta 19 yet. And I had my little sand setup from when I tried it on the sand track and didn't like it. But I put that exact same setup on here in Italy for round 3. And I feel like as far as AMs go, if I can put that same time down or beat it, I should be able to get in. So, yeah, kind of oddly enough, I'm kind of shaken up. I had to basically pop this on and get the recording on, and I saw that we had hit the 500-hour mark. So I said, hey, perfect time to make a video. So yeah, here we are. And I guess what I've learned so far from this hour mark is simply just how much the bike and bike setup is really starting to matter in this game. As far as competitiveness goes, you play for fun. You're kind of like a mediocre player. That's good and great. I mean, any bike is obviously rideable. You can set up any bike to work for you. And I do know that. A part of me knows that. But why is it that I take a base setup off, I made my suspension myself, which granted, I'm really not that great at setting a bike up. But trying my own setup out here on a KTM, which I've never ridden, and in the matter of fact, it was kind of funny. I ran a 145 on the second lap here when my current time was a 146. Beat it the second lap on this bike, and I was like, no way. So then I did it again and got down to a 144.99. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to beat it in this video or not. That was by far the fastest time I've had, and I did that time within, 4 laps after that. So very crazy to think about it, and I feel like I said with all my videos, I like to add purpose in this whole progression series of the hours on this game. Obviously, we're just hitting the deck quite a bit, trying to go as absolutely fast as possible. But we're about to lock it in for you guys. We're going to get the bike a quick clean and lock it in and actually get some real deal laps going here. But I found it just so odd to me, and now it's got me kind of thinking that these paid setups might be worth it. I mean, guys, SPX, Cloud, somebody help me out. I'd love to get maybe a little bit of a suspension sponsorship here, because I'm realizing that some of these pro guys on this track, I was watching the 250 times and stuff like that. Some sickos were actually running a 139 in the race, which would have qualified them 4th overall out of 450s and 250s. I forget exactly the rider who did that, but when I pieced it all together, he was running just as fast as the 450 guys, actually faster than most of them. So it just came to light that I was like, okay, granted, obviously, every little thing you saw me just slide out, kind of hitting bumps a little off, stuff like that, all that is so costly with time. And you guys can see on the max HUD there on the bottom, trying to chase my best time, and we're really not too far off of it, as you can see, and with the mistakes. So I totally understand where the time can come from. But when we were talking at the time, being 10 seconds faster than I'm running right now, that kind of was like, okay, how are they doing that? Granted, now I got it down to a 144. So obviously the gap shrinks a good bit to how far off I am from that full-on professional, best in the world kind of pace. Obviously, these tracks, those of you who are not familiar, the track release is about an hour or so before the races start. So not like many people have a lot of time to grind it. Actually, the people who have the most time to grind it would be me with the amateur series. We didn't qualify for Pro-Ams. Grinded the hour before Pro-Ams to try to learn the track, try to get our times down. We're just not quick learners like that, I guess. And but now, after basically spending a day on the track, even after the Pro-Am qual, we decided to kind of keep at it because we were feeling it. We were kind of warm. Decided to click on the record button. Knew we hit 500 hours, so this is the footage you're seeing now. But it kind of mind-boggled me because I'm like, okay, well now what, give or take, I'm about 4 seconds off of professional pace. And it kind of led me to one thing. As you guys can see, I come into these corners, I'm getting knocked around, even on my setup. Believe it or not, the base setups that I was getting was even way more bouncy, way more stiff, just not ideally what the track called for. And it kind of got me thinking that, okay, I started looking back at some kids' streams and stuff like that, and I noticed one thing. Their bikes are never becoming upset. They don't come unsettled. They're kind of just glued to the ground. The suspension is absolutely working, and 9 times out of 10, they're either really good at setting up their own stuff, or they are running the paid setups via sponsorship or however it worked for them. But I realized one thing, that I don't think these paid setups are necessarily a ripoff. These guys know what they're doing. They're building suspension into the game. And it's kind of given me something to think about here at the 500-hour mark, if I'm going to pull the trigger or not. So, obviously didn't beat our time. But, yeah, I found it so crazy. Maybe there's something I'm missing here, trying to put the pieces to the puzzle together. I felt like I'm doing the absolute best I can, and either the bike pushes, washes, or kind of becomes super unsettled from all the braking bumps and all of that. So kind of been messing around with that a bit. And I'd say that going forward is probably going to be one of the biggest focuses, not trying to pick up a bad habit or anything or make excuses for bike setup and stuff like that. I don't think a setup is completely make or break, but when you're trying to qualify for these My MXB series races, you got to have your stuff completely on par, on point. And I think that's the direction that we're going to start to go here on MX Bikes moving forward. So going to really focus in on the suspension factor, going to focus in on maybe trying a few things, maybe get off the Yamaha for a little bit, maybe try to see what bike is actually best for me. What do I drive with? What do I make the less mistakes on, or least amount possible, I'd rather. And maybe there's a golden ticket here in the 250 class for this KTM. Are we going to jump on the bandwagon? Guess you guys are going to have to stay tuned and find out. So hopefully we can make AMs tonight. 500 hours in the books. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.